Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time on a Thursday night. I hope everybody's feeling right. Hope everybody's living well and that you're ready to get the final primetime show of the week up and rolling. We're very excited to have you here on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and Twitch TV. Welcome in to the show. Tonight, we are going to talk about Derrick Henry, his ranking in the best Titans draft picks of all time. Bleacher Report had a writer going around making the selections. We'll tell you where Derrick Henry ranked, and we'll discuss whether he should have been higher or lower. I think there are a handful of people who are going to be able to figure out where exactly it is that Derrick Henry ranked. Before we do that, we'll also talk about Jon Robinson's draft picks. We'll get into JRob's season. We will talk about, this is a free site, the best thing I saw on the internet this week. Justin Tomaselli says Lucas Burke and Justin Tomaselli are talking amongst themselves. Anyway, we're going to talk about Derrick Henry. We're going to talk about JRob. We're going to talk about the funniest thing that I saw on the internet this week, and we're going to do it with you, but we want to do it with your friends too. So you need to, in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, if you view with us on Periscope or Twitter's live version, Inception tweeting, you can retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you view with us on Facebook Live, you can share. You can share now to public. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. In fact, I'm doing it right now on my personal Facebook page. Share now to public. That's how we get the people going on a Thursday night. We're excited to have the people. Let your people know, if you're on YouTube and Twitch TV as well, that we are live streaming here on a Thursday night. And now that more of you are here, we can begin the show officially. I see Lee, I see Dee Marie, I see Lewis, I see Stephen, Corey, Kim, OG, Will. We are ready to begin. Welcome into A to Z Sports Prime Time from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios. I pointed the wrong way. I am your host, Buck Rising, and I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by Two Rivers Ford. I was just out at Two Rivers Ford today, in fact, because it's Car Care Month. And my car, my 2012 Ford Escape, I had to get her checked up on. It is Car Care Month at Two Rivers Ford. You can get 10% off your service when you go through their award-winning service department in Mount Juliet. Go print out your coupon online at tworiversford.com. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. If you're not betting on the golf, you should be. If you're not betting on the NBA, you should be. If you're not betting on the Preds tonight, you should be in the DraftKings Sportsbook app using the promo code A2Z Sports. Gary Ashton and the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, the official real estate agent of the Preds, who are playing right now, of the Titans, who will play soon, and of A to Z Sports Prime Time, who is now playing for you right now. Gary Ashton for your dream address without the stress, or to sell your home for more at GaryAshton.com. And of course, if you want satisfaction guaranteed on each and every one of your HVAC needs, the people that you call are Brymac Mechanical. Commercial, residential, doesn't matter. They got you covered at Brymac.com. All right, so let us talk about Gas Saver, Buck. You know how to ride, says Boogeyman. Well, let me tell you, I love my 2012 Ford Escape. Sugar, she's coming up on 10 years. So it is now. I have had my car for 5 years, but it is coming up on the time for me to get a new car, and that means I'm going to be going out to Two Rivers Ford. I finally catch the A to Z live stream, says Vin Roy. Well, welcome, Vin Roy. If you're a first-timer, we appreciate you guys hanging out, showing up, and showing out. Derek Rose, but Buck Rise, says Big Mac. Indeed. So Derrick Henry was there. Bleacher Report, it's the football offseason, so it's list season, right? Typically, we reserve that for the summer months in June and July, but the list season has begun. And Derrick Henry, Bleacher Report, is going through and ranking each of the 32 NFL franchises' best draft pick of the last 10 years. So from 2020, from 2011 to 2021, basically, is where we find ourselves. Do you know if the Titans will have Anthony McKinney this year at tackle? Says Donovan Romaine, isn't that the guy that opted out? I have no idea about the tackle competition right now, but he was, I'm pretty sure that was the name of the opt-out player the only one that they had. Anyway, let's not talk about opt-out players. Let's talk about Derrick Henry, because Derrick Henry is the player that has been voted by Bleacher Report as the Titans' best draft pick this decade. So the question becomes, fair or foul? We will go through some former draft classes of the Tennessee Titans, not just of Jon Robinson, but of Rustin Webster as well. Fair or foul? Derrick Henry as the best Titans draft pick this decade. Your Two Rivers Ford take. Let me know on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch TV. We will get you going there. Your Two Rivers Ford take here on a Thursday night. Fair or foul? Derrick Henry as the Titans' best draft pick in the last 10 years. While you guys do that, I will remind you about the fine folks at Two Rivers Ford, where you go for 10% off your service if you go get your car serviced at Two Rivers Ford. Car Care Month, that's what's happening in April. And it's because Two Rivers Ford prides themselves on customer service. They've prided themselves on customer service for nearly 40 years, since 1983. They've won the Ford Customer Care Award 14 years of the nearly 40 years that they've been in business. That means that you're having a great experience, whether you're buying a car or using their award-winning service department. So go check them out in Mount Juliet, or pay them a visit online at tworiversford.com. That's where you go. Your Two Rivers Ford take here on a Thursday night. So let's see. Fair or foul? Now, I don't expect many fouls, but I do think that there will be a handful of people who see value in other players, because Derrick Henry is a fantastic player, literally a record-breaking player for the Tennessee Titans, and one who stands alone in NFL history. So he's going to be a tough one to knock off the perch. But Bleacher Report did this. They went through each franchise. They found the best pick of each franchise in the last 10 years, and they came up with Derrick Henry. So fair or foul? Steven says fair. Daryl says as well he should be. Fair for Johnny Jameson. No question, says Mir. Fair. Jason Lewis. Marquise, yes, sir. Foul, it's easiest, says Brandon Cotter. Okay, Brandon, well, tell me who your pick would be, because I'm looking at each of the last, I'm looking at the last 10 years of drafts, okay? Now, let's just do first round picks, right? So Jake Locker in 2011, Kendall Wright in 2012, Chance Warmack in 2013, Lawan, Mariota, Jack Conklin, Corey Davis, and Adoree Jackson, Rashaan Evans, Jeffrey Simmons, Isaiah Wilson. Now, we know that Derrick Henry was a second-round pick. We know that Derrick Henry was the third of the 3 second-round picks that they made this year. If you want to yell at Jon Robinson about anything, look at what came before Derrick Henry in that 2016 draft. Jack Conklin, good pick. Kevin Dodd, bad pick. Austin Johnson, bad pick. Derrick Henry at 45th overall. They had 3 second-round selections, and Kevin Dodd and Austin Johnson both went before Derrick Henry, which seems ridiculous in retrospect at this point. Fair or foul is the question that I'm asking you. Now, consider this. Jarrell Casey is also included in this draft, or in this range of draft picks. I'm going through the list of them right now. The 2013, 2012, there's been nobody to compete with it. Taylor Lewan, you could make the argument for Lewan because he was here before Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry doesn't have quite the level of success that he does at this point without Taylor Lewan, although nobody is doubting that Derrick Henry is a spectacular player. Jack Conklin doesn't measure up. Corey Davis, Adoree Jackson, Jonnu Smith, Jayon Brown, also in the running. Rashaan Evans, Harold Landry, A.J. Brown, Jeff Simmons, Nate Davis, Amani Hooker, David Long, Isaiah Wilson, Christian Fulton, Darrington Evans, Laurel Murchison, and on the list goes, right? Fair or foul is the question that I'm posing you. When was Johnson drafted, right? Literally 2 picks before Derrick Henry, which is an offense, an absolute crime against draft humanity. Austin Johnson, and even before that, 10 picks before Austin Johnson, 12 picks before Derrick Henry, your boy Kevin Dodd. Problem area for the Tennessee Titans in the last couple of years. Fair or foul, the selection of Derrick Henry in the last 10 years as the best draft pick in the last decade of the franchise? I would be curious to hear from you here on A to Z Sports Primetime from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios. Lucas Burks says KB was a third-round pick, says Lucas Burks. Yeah, Kevin Byard factors in to this. I don't think there is a legit other answer, says Johnny. Well, here's what I'll say, right? AJ has the potential. Jeffrey Simmons has the potential. If you're going to make the argument for anybody, it would be for Taylor Lewan. Now, it's not a great argument that you could make for Taylor, right? He's a left tackle. He's not a skill position player. But Taylor is really, when you go back and look at it, Taylor and Mariota, two draft picks, two first-round draft picks that were here on the roster when Jon Robinson got here. Mariota didn't last. Taylor Lewan has. So when you look at how the Tennessee Titans built themselves back up, Taylor Lewan is a very big part of this. Derrick Henry is, without question, the most recent source of their greatest success, right? When the Titans are at their best, it's because Derrick Henry's at his best. But if you want to make the argument for anybody else out of all of those draft picks that have happened in the last 10 years, Jurrell Casey, maybe. Taylor Lewan, maybe. But really, I don't think anybody's coming close to Derrick Henry. Fair is the answer to the question here on A to Z Sports Prime Time from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios. It's 100% Derrick Henry, and the other two are maybe close, but Derrick Henry's really the only one of them that's well on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Just happy to be a part of this team, be a part of this organization, be teammates with the guys on this team. They're my brothers. Great accomplishment, for us collectively, and just glad that we was able to, finish with a W in the division, be able to keep playing. Got shaky at the end, but we all stuck together and was able to get it done.
So that's Derrick Henry after he became the 8th player in the history of the NFL to rush for 2,000 yards. Derrick Henry is fair as the Titans' best draft pick in the last 10 years. He's broken 1,000 yards in each of the last 3 seasons. He's got a pair of rushing titles, back-to-back, no less. He's the 8th player in NFL history to rush for 2,000 yards. Last year, of course, he broke 2,000 and went over 2,000. I believe he finished with 2,029 in that Week 17 game against the Houston Texans. That does not include what he did in the 2019 postseason, where he was literally the greatest source of their success. The reason that they found themselves in the AFC title game. Tannehill, of course, did things. Jonnu Smith, Corey Davis, Khalif Raymond. There are many. David Long was a big part of that in that game against Baltimore. There are many, many reasons why the Titans had success, but Derrick Henry is the greatest source of all of it. They had Jurrell Casey on the roster for nearly all of those 10 years and never found the kind of success that they did when Derrick Henry was operating at his best. Taylor was like a cornerstone, says Daryl. 100%. Brandon Cotter says, please don't flame me, Buck. It was an accident. Boys, I didn't mean to type that, says Brandon. Okay, so he's retracting his statement. Lewan was before JRob, I thought, says 24 Sherlock. Yes, well, we'll get into JRob's drafts here in a second. Tannehill for a 4th-round pick is a really, really good draft pick. Yes, that's 1,000%. Lewan had a bout with making stupid penalties, but yeah, now he's one of the best left tackles. Maybe you couldn't make the argument that he's the best left tackle. Hell, Trent Richardson at 175 is still out here making the argument that he's, and rightfully so, that he's one of the best left tackles in football right now. There's a handful of good ones in the league, but Lewan has been very, very good. Ivan Gregory says Lewan hasn't been near consistent enough. I mean, Ivan, so when Derrick Henry got here in 2016, it really wasn't until like the last month, the last quarter of the 2018 season when Derrick Henry turned into Derrick Henry. Now, some of that's Mike Mularkey's fault for playing DeMarco Murray far longer than he should have. But remember that Derrick Henry, again, was losing snaps to David Fluellen as recently as 2018. So I would say to you that Lewan, when you tell me about Lewan and his consistency, the argument is very much there to say that Taylor Lewan has been more consistent for a longer period of time than Derrick Henry. Now, make no mistake, Derrick Henry's accomplishments are otherworldly. They are Hall of Fame discussion worthy especially if he continues on this path without question. But let's not do revisionist history. Let's not remember the version of Derrick Henry that people were infuriated by because he refused to run north and south as opposed to trying to be a finesse back when he's 250 pounds. And the version of Derrick Henry that in 2018, for the majority of that season, until the last month when he had 7 touchdowns in 4 games, there's really not a good argument for the consistency of Derrick over the consistency of Lewan. If consistency is the argument that you choose, okay? Again, I'm not arguing that what Derrick has done or what Derrick has done is not more impressive than Taylor. That's without question. Henry was held back early. I don't think that's totally fair either. Henry was held back early, yes, but Henry also held himself back. They tried very, very hard. They tried very, very hard to make Derrick Henry their feature back Mike Vrabel's first year here. And it just wouldn't happen. That's why there were still Dion Lewis games. If Derrick Henry was the clearly superior player, he would be the clearly superior player here on A to Z Sports Prime Time from the DraftKings Sportsbook Studios. People tend to forget that, says Ronnie Sneed. No question. I mean, and I don't say that to discount Derrick Henry. Please don't mistake me. But I do think that it's important to remember that if we're going to cite consistency, we have to look at the full picture for both of those players. And Derrick Henry's consistency, while it has been spectacular, it's still in a pretty small sample size when you think about it, which honestly makes it more impressive, especially if he can keep up on that pace. As far as consistency goes, Henry has not fallen off ever since he turned it on, says Dom, without question. You're my favorite sports show host. You know your stuff, says Dylan Hardaway. Well, thank God, because they pay me a lot of money, so I better damn well know my stuff. David Williams says, hey, Buck, guess what? What, David? But if you better have something good. You better have something good, because if you're screwing with me and if I'm slowing down the show for you, David, there better be good news. And it's not that I don't love you, baby, but you gotta give me something good if you're going to say, hey, Buck, guess what? Hey, guess what? What, David? Let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep the show moving here on a Thursday night. Yes, Henry is a beast, says OG Will. Yes, the answer is fair without question. Derrick Henry is the best Titans draft pick in the last 10 years, David. Well, that is actually pretty good. David Williams says, don't forget that you could suck it, Buck, just like Dennis Kelly told me in his goodbye statement to Titans fans. I don't know that we ever talked about this on the primetime show, because that happened on the radio show. Buck could also be our favorite PA, but I think he's getting tired with the 2 income, says King Mofaga. I mean, listen, I am very, very well compensated, but I work all the time. And so I appreciate everybody that wants or wants me to do the Titans public address, because, of course, Duke Donegan retired after 22 years from being the voice of Nissan Stadium. He's done an exceptional job. Every preseason game, every home game, every postseason game at Nissan Stadium or LP Field or the Coliseum, Adelphia Coliseum. That's been Duke, who's been the voice in the stadium, right? So now Duke's retired, and a bunch of people have asked me if I'd want to do it. And I said, no, I can't work anymore. I just simply can't, because I'm not tired yet, but damn it, I would be. And plus, I got enough to do on Sundays, much less, you guys don't want me as the voice of Nissan Stadium. You want a Titans fan. You want one of you. You don't want me. I'm not going to bring the same excitement, the same energy, the same gravitas as Duke Donegan did. That's not me, baby. That just ain't me. There are plenty of good people for that job. I could probably do that job, but you want somebody who's as invested as you. And I'm paid to do a job. I'm paid very well to do a job. But yeah, it's you want a Titans fan in that position. And I am a Titans reporter, but I am not a Titans fan. You want somebody who can bring the energy. Would you rather have Laramie Tunsil, says Xavier Clemens? I would, honestly. D. Marie says, if they paid you enough, honestly, no, D. Marie, I would not. Like I said, I'm at the point in my life, fortunately, where I can turn down stuff, even if it means more money. And I'm perfectly comfortable right now with all the work that I'm doing. And I like what I get to do on Sundays. If I was the PA announcer or man or woman PA announcer, says Carrie, well, Carrie, whomever you want it to be, or whomever is qualified for the job. If there's a Lady Titans fan that wants to get down in the booth, I 100% support that. In fact, I encourage that. But I haven't seen a lot of females out there nominate themselves for the job. So Buck nonstop bragging about his money, says Ty. No, I'm just saying, like, I get paid enough. I work enough. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm trying to say at this point. Not true. It will be epic with a bottle of Don Julio in that booth, my brother. Yeah, that's it would be a good time. No, thanks, Buck. We need you here. Yeah, if I did PA, I wouldn't be able to do primetime. Listen, you guys don't want me working for the team. If I was working for the team, I wouldn't be able to be honest with you about your team. I would not be able to be unfiltered. If I'm a team employee, I gotta follow the company line, right? I wouldn't want to do that. You guys wouldn't want me to do. I don't think you would want me to do that. I think you guys come here because I'm not fanboy. Now, when the team's good, we'll talk about them being good. When the team stinks, we'll talk about them stinking. But you guys don't want me to be a team employee. Like, and all love for Mike Keith and Amy Wells and Coach Mack and Jimmy Wyatt. There's nothing wrong with that, without question. But I don't do a job like that. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, if things came to it, would I take a team job? I mean, maybe, but like, I don't know. I don't know how. I don't know. No, lie to us, Buck. Lie to us, says Dion. Maybe another night, Dion. Yeah, you've been stunting a lot lately, says Ron. It's like the Chappelle show. It's like the Chappelle show gif. Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. I actually did a DraftKings spot that we recorded, so I have a stack. It's just a bunch of singles. Like, I'm not going to a strip club anytime soon, nor would I, because I have a girlfriend. I'm very happy in my life. But I actually happen to have some money on my desk because we were cutting a DraftKings spot, which you will see on social media pretty soon. So hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. You know what I'm saying? Here on A to Z Sports Prime Time. Let's move on. Let us talk about Jon Robinson's draft season. It is officially draft season. It has been draft season. But I want to know from you guys here on A to Z Sports Prime Time, what has been, there have been 5 of them, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 5 Jon Robinson drafts, 2016 through 2020. Which of those 5 draft classes are the best of Jon Robinson's work? Let me know on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and on Twitch TV. I will let you know in the comment section on across the board which is the best of Jon Robinson's draft classes, and I'll read you some of those picks here in just a second. Right after I tell you about the fine. Hell, I've got my props from the DraftKings spot. I'll go ahead and gear up again just to tell you about DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. You want to be a winner. You want to go gamble with DraftKings Sportsbook. You want to use the promo code A to Z Sports so you can wear the crown, you can rock the shades, you can have the dollar bills for you to do whatever you want to do. DraftKings Sportsbook has got you guys in the middle of the action, especially right now. Basketball teams are entering the final month of the regular season as they gear up for the playoffs. Now, while some teams are locks to make the postseason, others are still fighting for their opportunity to chase the trophy this summer. DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is going to put you in the center of the action with a chance to turn $1 into $100 in free bets. Turning $1 into $100 is simple. Pick any basketball team to win their next game, and if during that game the team you choose hits a three, you bring home $100 in free bets. It's just that simple. So download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use the promo code A2Z Sports that you see behind me when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free bets if the basketball team of your choosing hits a 3. Code A2Z Sports to turn $1 into $100 in free bets for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Tennessee only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details if you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help. Call or text the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789. DraftKings Sportsbook is where you go. We're having a lot of fun tonight. I like when I get to use props. Bro, my internet cut out, says Ben Roy. It's all right. Stick with me. Buck loves making it hail, says D Good. LMAO, what just happened? Jason Lewis. We're living. That's what happened, Jason. What's Jon Robinson's best draft class? 16, 17, 18, 19, and then, of course, last year. Probably not going to be last year. 2020. So Donald Bell says 2018. So does Stacy Will. So let's take a look at the 2018 draft class. Now, there's only 4 picks in this class. 1, 2, 5, 6. Rashaan Evans, Harold Landry, Dane Cruikshank, Luke Falk. Now, I don't know. I disagree. I do not think that 2018 is anywhere close to Jon Robinson's best draft. In fact, it's probably, last year was his most high-risk draft because of the way that Isaiah already flamed out. But 2018's up there because really, the only 2 impact players that you have, right? Cruikshank plays on special teams, but Harold Landry and Rashaan Evans, you put a lot of eggs in that basket. Getting Jayon Brown and David King in the 5th is crazy. David King is about to get Rashaan Evans. Oh, David Long. Man, Redneck Patriot screwed up 2 games. He said Jayon Brown and he said Jason Brown. I'll put it up there for you so you can see why I messed it up. Jason Brown and David King, except it's Jayon Brown and David Long. So Redneck Patriot botched it both. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. CJ2K says 2019 Lando 50 on YouTube, and Donovan Romaine agree. So let's take a look at the 2019 draft class. Jeffrey Simmons, A.J. Brown, Nate Davis, Amani Hooker, DeAndre Walker, but David Long. Those are 5 players who have either started or played substantial snaps for the Tennessee Titans. 2019 was a fantastic draft class. Let me know how you feel about it on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube, and Twitch TV. Ivan Gregory says, it's 2019, no doubt about it. Jeff Sawyer agrees. It's a really, really strong draft class, and I'm inclined to agree with all of you saying 2019 because the rest of it, largely meh. There are some good players in there, like Derrick Henry and Jack Conklin in 2016, but there's a lot of bad players in there too, like Kevin Dodd and Austin Johnson. That's why 2019, the best draft by Jon Robinson thus far.
The film speaks for itself. And when you go and watch this this guy play live, when you put the film on, he's a guy that I think my 13 and 10-year-old daughters could scout. But when, like I said last night, when people in Starkville speak so highly of a young man and how he turned a mistake into giving back to a community, giving back to a school, and me spending half a day with him and the 3 hours that we've spent together, me with him, me with his family, the decision was always clear, but today it was crystal.
How was Jon Robinson? Now, he's talking there about Jeff Simmons, but there were a lot of good picks in that 2019 draft. 2019 for the dub. I feel like this is the year for the Titans, says Vin Roy. We will see. Correct, Buck. Need to correct myself. Got my 18 and 19 screwed up, says Benji Ray on Facebook Live. Jonnu Smith, Jayon Brown, Corey Davis, Adoree is a strong draft also. So, yeah, so that's 2017. Let's take a look because 2017 probably the best rival for the 19 draft. Corey Davis and Adoree in the first round. Taywan in the third, not good. Jonnu in the third, very good. Jayon in the fifth. Corey Levin in the sixth. Josh Carraway, Brad Seaton, Kalfani Muhammad. So there's a lot. I think that's probably the biggest draft. That is, I don't know. Let's see. 1, 2, let me count the picks really quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in 2016. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so 2016 was Robinson's biggest draft class. 2017 was a good draft class. Corey, Adoree, Jonnu, Jayon. 2016, though, was pretty good. Jack Conklin, Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, Tajay Sharp, LaShawn Sims. And there's a handful more. I'm listing the good players out of each of those draft classes. So it's 2019. Then you can make the argument between 16 and 17. But without question, like Donald Bell, yeah, me too. It's 2019. JRob makes good late round picks, says Xavier Clemens. Shout out to Corey Levin, says Donovan Romaine, for signing with the Jets. Yeah, I talked to Corey. I love Corey Levin. He's one of a kind. In fact, once Corey's playing career is done, I will tell the story because I want to make sure that Corey Levin continues to get NFL jobs as long as he gets NFL jobs. But one day when Corey is done with football, I will have Corey on either the podcast or the radio show, and we'll talk about the time that Corey and I were out at a bar, not together, not on purpose together, but out at a bar in Atlanta for the Super Bowl, and then at a different bar in Nashville the night before roster cutdown day. There are two very funny stories there that we will tell whenever Corey Levin has finished his NFL career. But they're very, very funny, and and one of those stories ended up with him not on the Titans. But that's again for another day after Corey is done playing football. Drafting Kevin Dodd over Chris Jones was a crime, says Quez. Oh my God, can you imagine? I mean, then you wouldn't need Jeffrey Simmons. So now you have Jeffrey Simmons. So it's not, I don't know if it makes you feel better. Chris Jones is obviously a very, very good player. But yeah, Kevin Dodd over Chris Jones, a tough look. We do so much better with our 2nd through 5th round picks. We should trade back, says Titans for Life. Again, somebody has to be willing to trade up, right? So the problem with Corey Davis, I've told you guys this story before. Corey Davis, they wanted to trade out of the 5th overall pick. They did not want to take Corey at 5, but they couldn't get anybody to trade up, and they knew they wanted Corey. So they overdrafted Corey, and then the run on wide receiver started. Now, out of the wide receivers, I think in the first round at least, Corey has been far more successful than any of the other players in that first round wide receiver draft class. But it's not like they didn't try to create more draft capital out of and they've done that before. They've traded up, they've traded back. They traded up for Rashawn and Harold, and they've traded back before and made and maneuvered. So it depends on a team that's willing to come up. You have to find a team that's willing to come up, and you can't show your hand too much by saying that, yeah, we just want to get the hell out of the first round. I heard that they had a deal in place with Cleveland, but it fell apart when Chicago took Trubisky. Well, not when Chicago took Trubisky, but when Chicago traded up to get Trubisky, right? They traded way beyond the Titans at 5. They went it up to 2 to take Trubisky over Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes. I mean, my God, where do we even start? But yes, 2019 by far and away, Jon Robinson's best draft class. All right, let's finish the show, and let's finish strong here on A to Z Sports Primetime. What is one opinion, one sports opinion, that you are most passionate about? It can be Titans, it can be Vols, it can be Braves, Preds, college basketball, whatever you want it to be, NBA, whatever. Bears were at 3, says D Good. Yes, thank you for reminding me. This is a free site, though. The best thing that I saw on the internet this week, which sports opinion? It could be LeBron's better than MJ or MJ better than LeBron. What are you most passionate about? One sports opinion that would make you stand on the table, scream at your friends, argue in a sports bar whenever we were able to argue in sports bars a million years ago, it feels like. Which sports opinion are you most passionate about? Because there's a clip going around on the internet of Brandon Marshall being very, very passionate about one particular thing. I hope producer Reed blurred out all of the cuss words, but we will find out together here shortly. Here on A to Z Sports Primetime, Isaiah Wilson will never be a professional race car driver. Censored MM has started the bidding there, so we will talk about that here in a second. But before we do, I will tell you about Brymac Mechanical, Gary Ashton and the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage at GaryAshton.com. Your dream address without the stress. Don't sell without the intel that the Ashton team can provide to you. They will put you in the best position. They are working hard for Middle Tennesseans because they are here in Middle Tennessee. They're not coming in from out of state trying to poach the Nashville real estate market. Gary Ashton, a big part of the community, official real estate agent of the Titans, Preds, and A to Z Sports Primetime at GaryAshton.com. All right, this is a free site. What's the sports opinion that you are most passionate about? Donovan says Sean Taylor is the best safety ever. Jeff Sawyer, NFL equals Tom Brady is the GOAT. Lucky I am an athlete, censors most cuss words, says Tribe Called Quest. Well, we'll find out here in just a second. I'm most passionate about the NBA's treatment of small market teams. Rich get richer, poor get poorer. I could write a book on that. Yanni Laurel, says Lucas Bergs. I don't know who you're referring to, said Yanni, but at this point, I know that Brandon Marshall is most passionate about the NBA and whether their salaries are guaranteed or not. This from I Am Athlete podcast on YouTube.
Y'all talking about because y'all talking about the NBA. Everybody got guaranteed contracts, and it's false. They do. Searching this, and I'm telling you, it's the truth. No, they don't. Not everybody that's on the NBA roster have a guaranteed.
There's two-way contracts. There's two-way contracts,
no,
and then there's the top dog. There's the top dog.
No, it's not. There's 4 guys on the NBA team that got guaranteed contracts, and everybody else can be cut today and don't got nothing.
And don't have nan dime.
Look it up. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed.
So who has a better structure, the NBA or the NFL?
Everything y'all saying is what I'm saying. It's now you finally got the Russell Wilsons of the world finally saying something.
Says Brandon Marshall losing his damn mind about guaranteed contracts in the NBA. Al Bundy was the best high school football player ever, says Redneck Patriot. Peyton Manning was hiding and taking HGH, says Salmon Saliva. I don't know. Saliva? Salmon saliva. I don't know. Taking HGH, and it was swept under the rug instead of being investigated. Manning's sexual assault in Tennessee was swept under the rug as well. Everybody, ESPN was all over Peyton Manning. It was the biggest story in sports because ESPN just wouldn't let it the hell go. Once they start yelling, I check out. Crazy, says Titans for life. I love that I Am Athlete podcast. Cracks me up. Peyton didn't make any tea at UT, says Redneck Patriot. MLB needs to set a cap floor to make teams spend money, says D Good. Lewis Chesney. Oh, okay. Christian Fuller and Lewis Chesney are talking back and forth. The sports, the thing that's going to make me get like Brandon Marshall, veins bulging out of my neck and my head, is this. That NFL, and it's unfortunate because Peter King reported this today, the NFL is likely to ease the restrictions on jersey numbers that players can wear. And this is the first time that I felt like my parents, this is the first time that I felt like get off my lawn guy in sports. But the NFL is going to allow players, skill position players, to wear single-digit numbers. That means Derrick Henry could wear 2, A.J. Brown could wear 1, and most people like that. I hate it. I understand that it's stupid. It's just a number. Why do I care this much? I don't know. I don't understand. But I hate it. I hate the number change idea. I want players in the NFL. I want there to be some difference between NFL football and college football. I don't want to see Derrick Henry in number 2. I don't want to see A.J. Brown in number 1. I don't want to see a defensive lineman wearing 49. I hate that shit. I hate it. It is so stupid. But it's something that's going to happen. It's something that the NFL is prepared to change. It's something the players want. I'm in the minority on this. I understand. But it's still something that's going to bother me. I'm going to hate it when it happens. I'm going to hate watching it. I'll get over it eventually because it's my job to. But I hate the idea of single digits, that wide receivers can wear what between 1 and 49. Get out of here with that. I don't want to see a wide receiver wearing 49. There's no wide receiver in their right mind wear 49, but somebody's going to do it, and I'm going to hate it. I'm going to hate looking at it in practice. I'm going to hate looking at it. 49 is such an ugly number with the Titans jersey numbers. I hate it. College football is great, but there isn't anything that college football does better than the NFL. That's not true. I think the environment at college football games is way better than the NFL games. I think, with the exception of places like Green Bay and, what are super famous NFL franchises. I can't say the Cowboys because the Cowboys have sucked for so long. The Packers are probably the closest to a college football experience that you have in the pros. Patriots fans, but even Patriots fans, it's not like that. Mostly because it takes a damn long to get from Boston to Foxborough. Like, it's just, I don't think they're Buffalo. Buffalo is a good one. Steelers a good one. Cleveland's a good one. Okay, thank you. I was stalling for some reason. Buffalo is a really, really good one. Chiefs as well. Chiefs Kingdom's nuts. But I think Packers supersede all of that because it's such a small town environment. There's just this massive, sanctuary to football dropped in the middle of a Green Bay, Wisconsin neighborhood. So college football, the only thing that they do better than the NFL, I would argue, is the fan experience. But I hate the numbers. I don't want to see a quarterback wearing 22. I'm with you, Daryl Ingram. The idea of that sounds so bad to me. So bad to me. Seahawks says Temper Titan. It's been so long since I've heard what Seahawks Stadium sounds like with fans in it. It's been a long time. DJ Rex says, "Yo, Buck Titans looking for a new PA announcer. I signed you up," says DJ Rex. Well, thank you, but no, thank you. I don't need the. I've got enough to do on game day. No thanks. The NBA and the lack of defense nowadays, says Ronnie Sneed. Oh, that's the sports opinion that he's willing to die on. Did you also not like the NCAA allowing players to wear zero? No, I just don't care about college football that way. I'm not tied to college football the way a lot of you were tied to college football. I didn't grow up with it. I didn't grow up watching it. I watch it now because I'm paid to, and because you guys care about it. And the SEC is good, and it helps me to know, when guys come to the league from the NFL, or when guys come through the NFL draft to the league, it's better for me to know what they look like in college, without question. But I just don't like it. I'm going to die on this hill without question. What do you think this Titan staff reaction to seeing your name would be? What, as the PA announcer? I could think of a very few choice words that Mike Vrabel would have to say about that. Let's see. Is Houston sabotaging Watson, says Redneck Patriot? No, I don't even want to get into that. It's just, I've got nothing to advance the conversation on Deshaun Watson. All I'm going to say about Deshaun Watson moving forward, I'm sure it'll continue to be a story. The only thing we're going to say about Deshaun Watson is I don't think he's going to play football this year, and that the legal system will have to play itself out. Other than that, no thanks. But in the meantime, the radio show is going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Harry Douglas on the radio show, former Titans wide receiver. He was great on the wide receivers in the draft. We're going to talk more wide receivers tomorrow at 10:20. Mike Giardi from the NFL Network, Coach Dave McGinnis from Titans Radio. It's going to be a great show from 10 to 1 on 104.5 The Zone. So make sure you either subscribe to Buck Rising on 104.5 The Zone, my radio show, or you listen live on 104.5 The Zone. The 615 sessions, it's popping. Go check it out in the A to Z Sports Podcast Network feed. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the sports this weekend. Enjoy the Masters, because I'm certainly going to. And, enjoy friends, family, loved ones, whomever you're around. But do it with great effort and great energy, because I know you're not tired, Net. Neither am I, even though I said net instead of yet. I'll see you Sunday. I don't know what day it is. Get out of here. No!